Thank you very much indeed. Welcome back. Time to meet my second guest on the programme today, another legendary host of Top of the Pops. Ladies and gentlemen, Ed Stewart.
Hey. There you go. Lovely. How lovely to see you, David.
Your old theme, we played you on with Morning Town Ride, which of course was the theme from Junior Choice, which you introduced for, in fact, you're still doing.
Yes, I do it on Christmas Day, and they still play the same theme. I think it was recorded by a man, Stan Butcher's Birds and Brass. That was the name of the album it came from. Of course, it was the Seekers' song, Morning Town Ride, and
yes,
they chose that as my theme.
Now, let me take you back to the start of your career, as I did with Pete, because I know that you began in Hong Kong.
That's true. I started in Hong Kong in 1961. I was actually learning to play the bass in those days, and because of the skiffle craze, I had joined a skiffle group, and a couple of mates of mine were doing their national service, and they'd been posted to Hong Kong. And they wrote to me and said, why don't you come and join us and make up the trio? And I said, oh, what a good idea. And I said to my dad, Dad, you haven't sent me to university properly, because I probably wouldn't have got in anyway. I said, could you lend me the money for the airfare? So he did, to Sky Coach of BOAC as it was then. I got to Hong Kong, and 149 quid it cost him. But he said that's cheap, and I think what I might have had to pay for you to be at university. So there were the two guys waiting for me, and I said, right, what time are we on, lads? They said, we're not. What do you mean we're not? We've been posted to Aden. So they were doing their national service in Hong Kong overnight, or over the flight. I didn't know. They'd been, and the next week they went off to Aden. And I never got to play with them, but I had to stay because I didn't have the return ticket. And because I'd done a little bit for the BBC at Bush House in London, I said that I'd work for the BBC. Well, when you did that in those days, you were welcomed immediately. Sit down. How many sugars in your tea, Mr. Mannering? And off I went. And so I got a job there as a newsreader, as everything. And it was lovely. And I stayed for 4 years. And when I came back, the Pirates had started. I joined Radio London in 1965, and then Radio 1 in 1967, and Radio 2 in 1990, and haven't looked back.
Absolutely. By the way, I know how much you love the BBC, and I noticed that you're wearing your BBC jacket today, small checks.
Not like you to be funny.
You also became one of the hosts of Crackerjack. Go on, say it again.
No,
ready?
You've always wanted to do that. You said you've always wanted to shout Crackerjack.
Should we do it?
On your behalf, we'll do it together. Ready? One, two, three. Crackerjack! Who's got the louder voice?
Now, we're actually got a clip here of you on should we say that? Crackerjack!
Patrick Moore would have loved that.
My kipper pudding! That's funny. It wasn't due until tomorrow. Oh! Oh, look! Oh! Oh, look! Oh! Hey! It's just what I've always wanted, a flying food mixture. What a nice place. Just a place for the summer camp. Are you a close party?
Well, who are you?
Lieutenant Humphreys, Royal Navy, in which we are being served.
Have you come to rescue us?
Well, that depends. I might like it enough here to stay. Excuse me. Hello.
You can't stay here. Oh, it's horrible. Oh, there's dangerous animals, poisonous insects, water all over the place, and avalanches.
You shouldn't believe everything you read in the brochures. Excuse me. As a matter of fact, the other day, I thought I'd have a look round the other side of the island, you see. Well, there I was, dangling on the end of my ladder, just like my budgie at home. When I put one foot on the sand and I went off the whole idea, so I shinned up my ladder back to me chopper and flew back to base.
Well, so that was your footprint, but it was a barefoot.
Ah, well, I didn't want to get the sand on my shoes. Ruins the suede, doesn't it?
Have you two quite finished?
I was just divulging a little of the plot. Now, I take it was you that sent that distress signal.
Distress signal?
Oh, it's quite pretty it was, too. Just like Guy Fawkes' night. You haven't got any Catherine wheels, have you? I like them.
He was talking about my kipper pudding. Oh,
Thank you. And for those who've never seen me before, that's what I look like without grey hair.
Yes. You were on Cracker Jack for quite a long time.
Yeah, about five years.
Yeah.
It was Eamon Andrews started Cracker Jack in 1955. Leslie Crowther took over. Then I think Little and Large did it for a couple of years, and then Michael Aspel, and then myself, and then Stu Francis.
Was it great fun to work on? I imagine
yeah.
it was.
Yes, it was a week's programme in as much that there were various sketches which the acting staff, you know, the Jan Hansen, Peter Glazes, and Don McLean's and Bernie Clifton's all did, and I used to come in and steal the limelight on the last line of the show. When it was 5 to 5, it's Friday, it's 5 to 5, it's Cracker Jack! I could do that anywhere around the world.
Yes.
Still shout Cracker Jack and get a response.
You also had your own program, didn't you? Your own program that was aimed at kids.
Junior Choice?
No, TV.
Yeah, Ed and Zed.
Ed and Zed, yeah.
Yeah, Ed and Zed.
Yeah.
Zed was a robot, and they asked me to do it last minute, really it was, and I was meant to learn my lines. Well, I'm, if you know, in pantomime, when we're meant to do our line learning, none of us are very good at it, and well, you or I. And so it wasn't a grand success, although it was very funny talking to a robot, and they put the script one side of the TV of the camera I was on at the time, so I could read what I was meant to be saying. But I wasn't happy doing it, and nor were they, because it stopped after one program.
Yeah. When you first hosted Top of the Pops, what was your impression of the studio?
Didn't think I got so scared, but the studio itself, everybody was moving around all the time. You know, the audience, the cameras, the producers, everybody was down, and you were just plonked on a platform somewhere and said, right, your next record is going to be Herman's Hermits, what it's going to be. And you just got your line going in your head, and then they'd say, right, we'll count down from the fingers on the producer's hands, on the director's hands, and watch that, and we need you to be out, obviously, when you've run out of 5 seconds. So you really had to think on your feet, and invariably they'd say, oh, sorry, rather like can happen in any program, David, that somebody technically has gone, sorry, we have to do that again, please. It's happened with you, hasn't it?
Wouldn't happen here.
Oh, never. No, we're got smooth as silk here. No, but it did happen there, and so you'd have to get yourself together again, and then, you know.
What I remember, Ed, was that when you saw it on television, it seemed so much bigger. But there were about 100 teenagers, and they were just sort of marshaled from one. So you'd have Rod Stewart here, and then when he'd finished, they'd be shunted over to another set, and there'd be somebody else there. And that was the thing about it, with clever direction,
editing.
It looked much bigger than it really was.
Yes.
The other thing I remember about it too was we never got paid much money for it. And whereas nowadays, you hear about people like Jonathan Ross and Graham Norton, earning millions.
Millions.
What the most I ever remember getting for comparing Top of the Pops, it was never £100. I got probably at the most about £95.
That's right. They always stayed short of the magic 3 numbers.
Did you get any more than that?
I don't think so. I really can't remember. I can remember on Junior Choice when I started doing that on the radio, 1968. Now, we used to have audiences in those days of 16 million.
Yes.
On a Saturday and Sunday morning, 16 million people would listen to that program. They used to get paid 50 quid.
Yes.
And somebody said to me who'd worked in the States, in America, if that program was on US radio, you'd be in your thousands, possibly millions, because it's with that proportion of people listening at any one time, nearly half the country.
Yeah, of course, Pan's people were used when the artists were not available.
That's
Either they were American or they weren't around. And so, they were really covering from that, but they became enormous stars,
Huge stars.
In their own right.
Yeah,
Legs and Co., Pan's people, and all the other lovely dancers.
That's it, and that was one of the perks of the job, was to introduce them. And go off to the BBC bar after and have the pleasure of buying them all a drink.
Ed, that doesn't sound like you to me somehow. I hope you don't mind me telling everybody this, but you have had a reputation down the years of being just a little bit
No,
tight.
that's wrong. I've just got a slight impediment in my reach.
Well, there is a rumour that every pound that you ever earn has been taken prisoner.
Oh, yeah, I have them chained up. Shall I show you?
No, because first of all, I want to say first of all a big thank you to the audience for clubbing together and paying your bus fare up from London. I think that was very good of them to do that.
Well, I had to stand all the way. Thank you very much. Yeah, I'll do that again.
And we knew that you were in the area because you were actually seen swimming under a toll bridge.
The old ones are the best, aren't they, David?
Honestly, listen, I'm not kidding about this because, Ed, how long have I known you?
Too long, probably, but 1970s, 69, 70.
I have known you something like about 45 years.
Yes.
Now, we've done a lot together in that time. We were at Radio 1 together. We were at Radio 2 together.
Yep.
We played football together in charity football
That's it.
matches. We even rode together in a speedway race, if you remember,
Absolutely.
at Wembley Stadium, which is a very dangerous thing to do on motorbikes. But in that 45 years, I have never seen your wallet.
Well, you think that's going to get... You're going to see it now?
Well, I don't think it exists.
Would you like him to see it? Audience, yes. All right, well, I'll tell you what. As I said, I've had a slight impediment of my reach. I did go through wartime with rations, so I've always kept my wallet, if I can get it out,
See
at the
that?
end of a chain. Now, you see, no, you laugh. You laugh because you think, oh, isn't he a tight? No, it's not that. It's because as you get older, you forget where you put things.
Rubbish. Rubbish.
Always-
Ladies, sit down, because I want to tell everybody, ladies and gentlemen, here tonight you have witnessed television history for the first time any audience has ever seen Ed Stewart's wallet. Yeah, come on.
Not only Ed Stewart's wallet, but inside a £20 note.
Gosh, hang on
Now,
a
that's
second.
been in there since Christmas Day.
Hang on a second. The Queen has just blinked. Ladies and gentlemen, we've had a lot of fun together down the years,
Oh, yeah.
and he's still a very cheeky boy. It's great to see him here today. Ladies and gentlemen, Ed Stewart.
Thank you, thank you. Oh, what are you going for, the wallet or the hand?
Now, I want you to stay around because it's your, well, stay around. You've never stayed around.
I've paid for
You've
one.
never bought a round. But I want you to